Good morning, friends. There are only few billionaires and quite few. I mean, like there are only few trillionaires, quite bit more billionaires, and say lakhs of millionaires in this world. Why everyone, crores of people are not becoming billionaires, millionaires, or trillionaires? Because they don't have normal people don't have information that these guys have. So luckily, I found an information that they might know or they will soon know, and then they are going to make money out of it, and then they are going to become millionaires. So the people who don't have this information will become bankrupt from millionaires, billionaires, or trillionaires. So anyway, I got it, and I thought I will share it so that once I become a rich guy, you should never tell that I did not tell it to you. So this is the information that I got. So the information is USA has a debt of $38 trillion. $38 trillion is 38 lakh crore rupees, and most of them are in the form of debt instruments, sovereign debt. Sovereign debt is something like U.S. government is borrows money from you and gives you a paper called as bond. That paper is a promissory note. The U.S. government promises that U.S. government will pay back after 10 years if it is 10-year bond, and for this bond, U.S. government will pay an interest. So all the wealthy rich guys buys bond rather than putting in FD because the assurance is from the government rather than the bank. So it's not known to common people, and this information is uh, kind of what is known to the rich guys. So, but the issue in that is the promissory period. Like U.S. government have taken loan 11.2 lakh crore worth debt 10 years or 5 years or 3 years before. So around 12 lakh crore worth debt is to be repaid back immediately. But government don't have the money. So what it can do is like depreciate the dollar value so that they don't need to pay it back. All the people took the who bought the bonds will renew the bonds for next 10 years and just keep on buying, because say if the dollar depreciate 50 percentage, 12 lakh crore becomes 6 lakh crore. So the person who borrowed money will lose 50%. So he'll say, I will buy it back when it come back to its original value. Until then, just pay me the interest, so that US government can escape paying the borrowers and keep on using that 12 lakh crore worth funds. So in order to reduce US dollars, some country, or the it has to force major institutions or investment bankers to sell the US dollars. Luckily for the US government, majority of institutions, bankers, and other US financial institutions have borrowed around 20 lakh crore worth fund from Japanese bank, and they are supposed to pay it back in yen. So say this 20 lakh, say yen value doubles, they will be forced to pay back 40 lakh crores worth US dollar. That will be a big, massive loss. And so if you increase the yen value, then automatically US investors will sell US dollar and buy yen. So dollar depreciates so that they can avoid this debt. So what they did is like create inflation in Japan. So how can you create inflation in Japan? Increase the oil price in Japan. And where is this oil? 95% of the oil used in Japan is from Iran. So invoke war in Iran and increase the oil price and inflate Japan. And then when the inflation begins, the central bankers of Japan will increase their interest rates. That will stop the free money that is coming from Japan. At the same time, it will increase the value of Japanese yen. So the proof is here. I am going to show you the proof. See how much yen appreciate in last 2 days. So for last 2 days, the yen have appreciated a lot. The US Iran, the ultimate goal of US Iran war is satisfied, and if you see USD INR, it has fallen also. So it fell this much. So now, this this is their core objective, like bring down the dollar so that you don't need to pay back, and you can say 12 lakh crores. And say even if like the currency is down for 3 years, the social security system in USA, Europe will make their citizens survive that long, and within that period, all the debt will be refinanced and everything will run back. So that is their ultimate plan. Now I asked Gemini, because this is a premium Gemini, Gemini Pro, so it will give you more bit more accurate data. So the issue here is, when you buy this debt, right, debt bond, the big players, what they do is they pledge it in bank, and then they will take money and then they use it for other investments. So they pledged in bank and then they have utilized it for stock market investment. So when they have to clear off the Japanese debt, they have to clear off the stocks, like they have to sell the stocks that they own, and then they have to sell the bonds, and then they have to clear the debt. So while selling the bond, usually they have to sell it for higher interest. So if you see the interest, US bond interest rate, it have risen also. So that is a second proof that this analysis is going in the right track. If you see the bond yield, it have risen. The issue with the rising bond yield is like, US bond is the most safest asset, and if it is giving you good returns, automatically people will move from riskier asset like equities or stocks to the bonds. So there will be more selling in share markets in the upcoming days, and then they will invest more in bonds. At the same time, the interest rate will also increase, so the banks are also forced to increase the interest rates. The moment the bank increases the interest rate, you have to pay. If you want to take a new business loan, you have to pay higher interest. So the business guys are going to have lot of issues getting fundings. So if businesses are not funded properly, automatically the business fails, and it will create unemployment. So that is one cause of unemployment, cause one. Now, so they use bond arbitrage to invest this stock. So there will be a massive selling in stock market, and if there is a massive selling in stock market, all the mutual fund companies might crash. All the institutions like insurance companies who have invested in stocks will crash, and all the mutual fund distributions will crash. All the people's savings will also crash. So that is going to burn a lot of money globally. So this is going to trigger a global recession just via stock market crash. And so I asked like how this bonds work. So what are the systems that they use? So they use, uh, and they say like, say if the US dollar depreciate, majority of the global trade happens in US dollar. So all the financial transactions happens in dollar, and say if it is going to depreciate, obviously they are going to charge more transaction charges in order to cover the loss. Say you bought US dollar for 100 rupees, and you're selling it to customer for 95 rupees, there is a 5 rupees loss. So automatically global transactions become more expensive, and the moment the global transactions become more expensive, all the import and export, all the global trade become more expensive, and it is going to affect international trades, like real international trade and real international businesses, real international financial transactions. So if you're working for any international clients, then your job is at risk, in short. And second thing is, all the major stock market investments happens via international transaction. Like they sell US dollar by INR and then invest in INR, and then they take out INR, and then they have to buy back US dollar. So if this financial transaction become more expensive, then international investment slows down, and it will affect the stock market, because there is no sellers. Half of the stock market investment is blocked. So now it is showing which all places is, I mean, like, where did they pledge this, where did they use the money that is being derived from pledging the bond. So one point, if you see here, 1.2 trillion and 2.5 trillion in leverage synthetic law dollar liquidity globally. $750 is directly deployed into securities and derivatives. 1 trillion is given to domestic, international, and institutional capital out of fixed income assets and into equity markets. So indirectly $1 trillion, directly around $750 billion are being utilized via bond arbitrage alone. And these are the calculations that they used. So the trans usually, the fund transmission channel will be severely affected. And so based on the yen carry trade, like, say if Japanese yen value is going to increase more, then majority of the people who bought debt are going to forcefully sell US bonds, and then forcefully sell dollar, and then buy yen. What are its other impacts? So first, it affects the bond market because they are going to sell a lot of bonds, and these bonds has to be absorbed by some entities, and they will be absorbed for higher interest rate. And if it is high, if you are getting higher interest rate in bonds, then they you will not utilize it in equities. And second thing is, higher interest rate, the bond value will be less. So even if you pledge the bond, you will not get enough money which you used to get before. So the amount of investment that comes to the global stock market, wherever, it's not like Indian stock market or anything, global stock market inflow is going to become lower. So there is going to be a global stock market crash because of this. And if they are not buying bonds, then government is unable to get funds. If government is unable to get fund, then automatically government financing will be in an issue, but it will be covered. For West, it will be covered by their social security system, but for other developing nations, if their stock market is broken down, and if they are unable to get enough funds from the bond market, then their governments can face issues, their banks can face issues. So that works. And another major issue is IT sector. IT sector works based on dollar revenue. So you get, if your currency value is cheaper, then you'll get cheap labor in the eastern region. That is the reason why there was like lot of IT investment, IT services, business creation in the east. Now as the dollar depreciate, all these IT engineers, IT people are going to lose their jobs, and once they lose the jobs, all the service providers will also lose jobs. All the service providers who provide services to the IT employees will lose jobs. Then all the manufacturers who provides material for these service providers and IT employees will get lose jobs. And this unemployment spiral will, circle and become a big unemployment giant, that lot of people won't have any job. They will not be able to buy things. They won't be investing in stock market. They won't be paying tax, and they won't be paying insurance. So they will not get health facilities. They will not have any job. They won't be able to buy land. They won't be able to buy gold. They won't be able to invest in anything. They won't be taking any services. So it's gonna massively affect everyone. Then if there is no jobs and anything, obviously the financial sector will affect. People will not put FD. Then banks won't be able to provide loan. If bank is unable to provide loans, then businesses are unable to run their business properly, and the businesses who have taken loan will not have enough sales to cover their loans. So all those loans become NPA or non-performing, it and this uh, it will create a lot of depreciation in collateral, because say if a lot of people are unable to pay loans, the bank will massively sell collateral, but there won't be any buyers, so the collateral value will decrease. So it will decrease land prices and any other collateral prices drastically. And you don't have job and you're going to sell your land and there is no one to sell your land, and because of bank selling you will get less money for your land. So you will end up giving your land assets and collateral in a very cheap manner. So if banks, then it will result in the collapse of banks. So then if you're working in banks or any banking institutions or NBFCs, then you are prone to lose your jobs. So be careful with it. Then tourism sector, if dollar falls, then westerners will not come to India, and if westerners are not coming to India, automatically there won't be any resorts, and the people, Indian people will not spend money on leisures or travel or tourism, so they will also not have. So this sector is going to impact luxury, tourism, entertainment, and all the unimportant sectors will lose. Wellness, fitness, these sectors uh, will be hit. So be careful if you're in those sectors or if you're working in those sectors. So how this JPY USD will affect the whole system that I have explained is pictorially given by the Gemini Pro over here. See, if you see here hiring freeze, so there will be a massive unemployment. Then there will be housing market stagnation. Like if you're unemployed, you won't be able to pay your house rents. So if you're unable to pay house rents, automatically you will be forced to move out of that. So your house owner will not have earnings. If your house owner will not have earnings, then automatically he won't be buying things. So that will again affect the economy. Then physical austerity and tax hikes, since government is unable to make lot of taxes and gain lot of taxes, government will reduce increase tax. So even if there are some good institutions that will be working better for the maintenance and for the existence of government will tax these guys, and government will force them to follow as well. So government will work against you in these situations. So this is what will happen. Housing and real estate will fall for sure. Then there are a lot of investment happening in corporate bonds, like sovereign bonds. Companies issues their own bonds, and you can invest in those corporate bonds. So when the companies closes, then they are not liable to pay back those funds. So there are a lot of investment companies that invest your money in corporate bonds as well. So if the company fails, all the debt that is taken by that company will become NPA, and that is common people's hard-earned money that becomes zero. So that money is also burned out. So imagine the amount of wealth, global wealth, or the global human effort that just go in vain by this action. That is a massive human efforts are gonna end up nothing. Governments, after that, the government will bring in lot of restrictions in spending, uh, and they will force people to invest in bonds. They will force people to sell products cheaper so that you can sustain. Sometimes there will be scenarios where government might force take gold, because that time the gold value will be higher, and government will take gold for lesser cost, and sell it in the international market just to survive the system. And if now coming to the psychology part, if if everyone is unemployed, and if the government is not financially stronger enough, then depression happens to the unemployed people, and these depressed people might get enraged, and there won't be any system, because government does not have cash to maintain a system to suppress this enraged mob. So it might create certain revolutions, or the country might go into chaos. So you should be prepared for those situations. And so now we'll go into the amount of money that is gonna get burned off via this investments. So if you ask, so I just asked how much worth of dollar revenue will be depreciated for Indian firms, just for Indian firms, because of decrease in Western consumption, decrease in IT requirements, FIA investment decrease. So because of all these effect, how much money is gonna get depreciated? Say depreciation will come, its effect will come, but if the is it stronger? Like, say, one thing is going to trigger another thing, but is this thing stronger enough to trigger another thing? So we need a financial verification also, then only we can confirm this is going to happen. So if you see, almost for India's information technology and business process management export basket stands at estimated baseline of 233 billion dollars. $233 billion is almost 2 trillion INR. 2 trillion INR worth fund comes, not 20 trillion. 20 trillion worth INR comes from IT sector. And if dollar falls, India is not going to get $20 trillion. Approximately, Indian government is not going to get 2 trillion worth of tax. That is 80, and other originates directly from Western geographies. Non-IT merchandise and general service export to Western destination contributes to another 220 billion. So another 20 trillion INR comes from export business. That is also blocked. And almost 1,100 trillion worth money comes to our stock markets from the West. And the interesting fact is, now it had already decreased only 700 billion, rest three almost 300 billion the dollars are taken away already from the Indian stock market, but Indian stock market have not depreciated. If you see Nifty 50, Indian stock market is not depreciated. This is a big problem with us. Like, they have taken out 300 billion worth of money, but our stock market still remains the same because we are giving investment SIP money. So they want to sell their asset and take out the money, so they have to sell it to someone, some stupid fools, and we are those fools who are foolishly buying these SIPs. So, and we are thinking like for last 2 days 2 years there is no specific increase in your SIP investment. And say if the stock market crashes, like why, like what I said, it is going to depreciate around 70 percentage or 80 percentage. If you face 80 percentage loss, then for next 10 years you will not invest because of the fear and because of those psychological issues that I have mentioned. So for next 15 to 30 20 years, there won't be any stock market increase, so your fund is gone, and you will be forced to, you will not have job, so you'll be forced to sell off your investment and then utilize that fund for basic necessities. So it's better to take off the money right now and keep it as cash, else you are going to lose all your stock market investments. uh, so so now this is the so the first trigger has already begun, and the symptoms are already visible in the stock market. Now because of this first trigger, what is the next expected issues? Now they have given it in, the country terms. So all the western countries all together, it's coming around 200 billion, like that. So it is saying a moderate 15 percentage budget retrenchment yields an annual revenue losses of 29.84 billion dollars. It's just giving an example how this thing is done. Now Western consumption. Now what happens? Another major issue that comes with it is, uh, say they have to spend more dollars to get more money. So export will not work. So if export will not work, then they will start manufacturing their own things, and then that will be done via AI and automation. So they need less laborers. So the rich people in the US will survive, and they will survive, and they will not need us anymore. So it's showing how it will affect us. So it is just giving you an example. 10 percentage will have 22, 25 percentage is 55 billion, like that. And they will not invest in stock market. So this is 931 billion in equity and almost 1007 billion in debt as well. So this is what is going to happen here, and this is how it is going to affect here. uh, Now because of this effect, this unemployment, how it will expand into another sectors. Like, say if I'm an IT employee, I'll buy car. So if I lose job, I'll not buy car. If I'm an IT employee, I'll go for movie. If I don't have, I'll not watch movies. I'll not buy milk. I'll not go to restaurants. I'll not buy clothes. So all these sectors will face loss. All the share price of those companies will fall. All the people working there will also lose money. So there then further sale depreciation, like that. It is going to affect all the companies that exist. And say many of the companies will have debt, so they won't be unable to pay off the debt, so they have to close the companies. And they cannot utilize that land, or they cannot sell that land. So it will stagnate the Indian economy completely. So all the major businesses will hit loss, and all the companies with debt will also hit loss. If you don't have debt, and even if you're good, the government will force you to pay more tax, and that will create another loss. So there is no way you can escape out this financial situation by doing businesses. Another thing is like there are NBFCs and VFSIs. NBFCs are like non-banking. It's similar to banks where they accept deposits. They sell mutual funds, they sell insurance, then they give you loan like that. It's not perfect bank, but it's a banking system. So all those NBFCs will affect, their collaterals will depreciate faster, and the employees working in NBFCs will also lose jobs. And a lot of people are doing ETFs right now. So say if stock market is going to not going to go further, they all the ETF investment will also go low. So your ETFs will fall, and you will face losses from ETFs as well. Uh, say now info parks, or technology parks will not have enough money. People will not stay in IT parks or in urban cities. All the real estate values in urban cities will fall, and all the service providers and all shop will close. And if there is no shops, then the urban people will not get rental money from the shops. That will also affect the system. So it's all interconnected. It's all completely interconnected. And once there is a virus that entered in one thing, it will spread all over the system, and it creates millions of viruses, and then that destroy the system, and that destruction will create another big massive virus, and it propagates. So this is the first time the whole world is interconnected in such a way, and the virus is JPY USD, increase in JPY USD, and it have already begun. It is visible in the increase in bond yields of US and India. So it's a proven thing, and it's going to happen. And for last 2 years, Indian stock market or any market has not gone much. Gold price has gone far higher. So it's the increase in gold price is not because of the war. It is for the upcoming financial tragedy that is going to happen right now. So, and already the big players and big institutional investors knows these things, and they have already started selling equities from BFSIs, oil, gas, and fuel, because it requires a lot of dollars. uh, and that is another big problem, because if dollar, if there is no jobs, there is no transportation required. And if there is no transportation required, then you don't need oil or anything. So that will again decrease the dollar demand, so it will again depreciate dollar. Then there is sell off in consumer discretionary FMCGs, auto. So they have started selling in all the major sectors that I have mentioned. So see, if they are taking out the money, they have already anticipated all what I have said. That is the another proof for my statement. And it's all done via Gemini Pro, which has all the global information. So this is a very authentic information that you are experiencing right now. And see, the moment they exit completely, then we won't be able to buy from them. So if there is no buying, then there will be a slight depreciation as well. So these are the major issues that we are going to face. And during this phase, governments will not get enough tax to create, to maintain, domestic, maintain army, police, health infrastructure, water management, everything, sanitation, power, like that. So if government is not having enough fund to maintain power, you will have consistent power losses. People won't have money to go to hospitals, insurance companies are failed, so there is no proper health infrastructure. And if there's no proper health infrastructure and no sanitation, then there will be like massive prevalent diseases. People, lot of people will die out of diseases. If there is no policing system and defense system, because the government does not have money to pay off the police or army, there will be mafias and they will be running around and stealing your products. So you are not physically secured also. So if you can focus on something where you can develop some systems that will generate electricity by its own, or if you can provide defense systems, private defense systems that will be in demand during that time, it will give you a lot of money, and automatically the gold price will go. So gold investment is another good thing that you can focus upon. And you can start because there won't be any uh, allopathic medicines available. So if you can grow ayurvedic medicines, that will also work better. So these are the money making options that uh, will keep you alive. So beware and act wisely is what I want you to say, want you all to say. And it has begun 2 days before, and you will find its impact soon. Most probably in next 2027, majority of IT people will not have projects. So 2027 will mark the beginning of unemployment, and say before they know that their job is gone, and then they have to sell off the equities. The big players will sell off their equities, so that and bring down the equity lower, so that they suffer. Or IT selling will begin. And so the all the rich guys who know about this thing would have already liquidated their funds, and they will be in cash. And IT guys will start selling. IT guys will realize their job will be gone by 2027. Before that, they will bring down, I think they will sell, and that selling pressure would most probably bring down the stock market at least 30 or 40 percentage within 2027. And once they are unemployed, then they will sell off the stocks. Once there is a stock market crash, then it will move to other asset price collapse. Then gradually, the land price will fall. And once the land price is fall, and unemployments are increasing, automatically many companies will shut down. And after that, there is a massive unemployment, and that massive unemployment will trigger agitation, that will create chaos in the country, so the country will be burning. And while country is burning, there is no banks, so financial system is collapsed. And once the financial system is collapsed and it's in riot, then the health system will start depreciating, and it will create a lot of diseases. So this is how it's gonna destroy, or massively kill a lot of people. And the fault is in our side, because we have we were so greedy that we took out maximum future money that we are supposed to enjoy in the future, and we didn't utilize it properly. And we just we are going to burn it all. So the mistake is ours. Like, all the rich guys took out the money that we are supposed to use in the future. They took it out already, and they have kept it with them. Now we will not have money in the future, and we are going to suffer. So beware, guys, and sell off all your shares right now. Sell off all your urban assets right now. Move to the villages, to a city earlier. Start businesses, some small basic businesses, so that you can survive and make a lot of money. All the best, guys.